The Banshees of Inisherin is rolling out to cinemas near you. Is it worth your time? Let's talk about it. Alright, so like I said, The Banshees of Inisherin is rolling out in cinemas nationwide this week and the next coming weeks. It's also a movie that I think we're going to be talking about a lot come, December, January, February, leading up to Oscars time. We are getting closer. Got Jimmy Kimmel announced as the host, coming back after years without a host. So it's going to be a very interesting award season, especially after the drama of last year. But I do think this movie is going to be one that stands the test of time in the awards conversation and will probably be a lot of people's front runners. Spoiler alert, as it is mine. This movie is brought to us by Martin McDonagh, of course, from In Bruges. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, reteaming with Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Colin Farrell reteaming with Barry Keoghan. A lot of great chemistry can be found in this movie because so many of the players involved in this, both in front of and behind the camera, have worked together before. And you really feel that. This was a movie that I stayed away from the trailers. I was going to do a trailer reaction. I didn't. Stayed away from it all, and I am so glad that I did, because the surprises and the twists and turns and the decisions that characters make and kind of where this movie winds up is something that I know that I definitely was not personally ready for or expecting pretty much from start to finish. I mean, there were a few things that, make sense for the story that they were telling, but in terms of just the overall narrative and everything, I was absolutely captivated by this movie. I thought that the relationship that is really kind of almost a phantom relationship or a phantom friendship that plays throughout this movie between these two men, because really we're dealing with almost the afterlife or the fallout of this friendship. You feel it. You feel their connection throughout the entire movie, which I thought was stellar. And I do think that that really helps coming from Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson, who do have this, working relationship, working history, and shorthand with each other that comes across through the screen multiple times throughout the movie. In terms of the characters and everything like that, I thought that everybody was on their absolute A-game. People like Barry Keoghan, people like Carrie Condon from things like Better Call Saul. I thought that she was fantastic as Siobhan in this. I thought she was absolutely incredible. Probably a big scene stealer for me, just because I wasn't sure what to expect from her in a role like this, and I think she absolutely knocked it out of the park. Barry Keoghan, again, in kind of a supporting, not minor, but more like supporting role. I thought that he was absolutely fantastic in this. Reminded me a lot of, not necessarily the same type of character, but a lot of his similar presence to his character in Killing of a Sacred Deer, where I just felt like every time he was on screen, I didn't know which way it was going to go. Yeah, he's a very eerie performer. You see that even in something like The Batman earlier this year in his limited role in that. And I just think that he brings this kind of like eeriness of, is this guy, just a, wanderer, or is he more dangerous? Does he have ulterior motives? Is he somebody who could pose a threat to the story, kind of throw things off the rails? Or is he just somebody that is just kind of a free spirit? And I think to go along that journey with a side character like Dominic in this movie, I think also was a highlight for me. The cinematography in this movie is absolutely out of this world, outrageous. I absolutely thought that, it was just breathtaking from start to finish, especially, I'll just jump right to the end here, no spoilers, but the final shot of the movie, the nature that is basically contained within the final shot of this movie, left me almost breathless. I mean, 2 experiences where after the credits hit and it faded to black, that I just sat there in the auditorium watching the credits, just kind of processing what I did, was this movie and then Midsummer were really the 2 that left me with that, especially because of the song choice for the credits. It just leaves you with that kind of eerie feeling, contemplative feeling that I think that this movie thrives on. But for me, just overall, just to wrap it up, because I don't want to get into spoilers, I don't want to get into huge talk about this movie, because me and TJ will, I'm sure, be talking about this movie for many months to come, and then many years to come. Because I do think this movie was absolutely fantastic. It's going to be an easy 5 out of 5 for me. Right now, it might be my favorite of the year. I'm going to have to go back, process everything that I've seen, stuff like that. But I really, really, really enjoyed this movie. If you can, if it is playing near you, go and see this film. It is well worth your time. It is fantastic from start to finish. If you like a slow burn, if you like a more contemplative, interesting story, because it's not just one of these movies that's kind of like contemplative and boring. There's just some wild, interesting stuff that happens as well. And I think that this movie kind of shines on all of those fronts. So guys, go out, check out the Banshees of Inisherin. It is playing hopefully near you. If not, I'm sure it will be going wider in the weeks to come. Go ahead and let us know in the comments down below. Did you like this film? Did you think Brendan Gleeson was better? Colin Farrell was better? How did you feel about it? And more. While you're down there, go ahead and hit a like as well, and the subscribe button. And guys, we will catch you in the next video.